I believe you when you say that you love me. Know that I won't say you. There's something I won't betray your trust in me. I'll hold you and touch you, make you my woman tonight. There's something in your eyes. There's when we first met a long time ago. How could I forget the way I felt when I first set eyes on you? I remember saying to my friends, sharing my future wife and then I took a step to meet someone who would change my life. It had to be my dad. My hands, my eyes, our first day, our first arguments, our very first breakup and makeup that got us to this moment. Every girlfriend, everyone stands, every party, every party. Then it's
I need to come down a little bit. So we're gonna have a little band from the Sugar Band as well with the arrival of the governor of the central bank.
One, two, three, four. And that's
Soraya Picadoso. You're welcome. So please, I will rise now for the national anthem, please. Still standing, we'll take the CIBN anthem. CIBN anthem, please. Is there anybody in the audience that can lead us in this? Registrar? Somebody should lead us here. All right, thank you.
CIBN, Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria. The bankers' guiding light is the nation's joy and pride. We aim for integrity in the industry, upholding ethics and professionalism.
We continue to witness development beyond even our expectation in Jesus' name. We commit everything that is going to happen here today, that it shall be to thy glory. And unto glory in Jesus' name we are prayed. Amen.
Thank you, Prof. Please, let's be seated. Let's be seated. Thank you. Let me welcome tonight the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, distinguished Senator Kashim Shettima GCON, ably represented tonight by Mrs. Rukaya El-Rufai, Special Advisor to the President on National Economic Council and Climate Change. Thank you. I'd like to welcome here tonight His Excellency the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, represented here by the Honorable Commissioner of Finance, Mr. Abayomi Oluyomi, FCIB. Let me welcome tonight the Honorable Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister for the Economy, Mr. Wale Edun. I'd like to welcome tonight the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Olayemi Cardoso, and the Committee of Governors. Let me welcome tonight the President and Chairman of Council of CIBN, Ken Okwara, PhD, FCIB. With us tonight is the Senate Committee Chair on Banking, Insurance, and Other Financial Institutions, Distinguished Senator Tokunbo Abiru, FCIB. Let me welcome the Honorable Minister for Housing and Urban Development, Architect Ahmed Dangiwa, FCIB. You're welcome tonight. Thank you. I'd like to welcome the first Vice President who gave us a prayer earlier, Professor Pius Dejolanrewaju, PhD, FCIB. The second Vice President, CIBN, Mr. Delia Labi, FCIB. The National Treasurer, CIBN, Mrs. Mojisola Bakre Atsieru, FCIB. Let me welcome the Registrar and CEO, Mr. Akin Murakinyo. The highly revered past presidents of the Institute, I welcome them. Let me welcome the Chairman, Body of Bank CEOs, Dr. Benito Onyago, FCIB. Chairman Organizing Committee of this 50th Annual Bankers Dinner, Mrs. Nneka Onyalikwe, FCIB. Let me welcome the Chairman of the Organizing Committee of the 60th Anniversary, and also a former President of CIBN, Dr. Shegwa, OFR, FCIB. I'd like to welcome all the Chairmen and Managing Directors and CEOs of banks and other financial institutions that are here, all special guests that are present, captains of industry, past registrars and CEOs, very eminent members of the society that are here, members of the diplomatic corps, development partners, presidents of professional bodies, members of CIBN Governing Council, our royal fathers that are here, fellows, associates, honorary senior members, microfinance certified bankers on all categories of membership of CIBN, members of the academia, members of the banking community, management staff of CIBN, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is with pleasure that I welcome all of you to this amazing event. This dinner is the 50th edition. All right. I've just been giving the notice that the distinguished Senator Osita Ezinazor, Senate Committee Chairman on Capital Markets, is here with us. I welcome you. And also the Senate Committee on Diaspora, NGOs, and Civil Societies, Senator Anthony Yaro, is also here with us. Thank you very much. So I welcome all of you tonight. This edition is particularly special as it is the grand finale of the 60th anniversary of the Institute. 6 decades of unwavering commitment to professionalism, integrity, innovation, ethics in the banking and financial industry. Tonight is also special because the CBN governor is here. No wonder it is called the Governor's Day. So on behalf of all the management staff and people that put the event together, I welcome all of you tonight to the night of glamour, glees, excellence, class, and introspection. There's music, there's comedy, there's a lot to share tonight. And this is how we'll kick off. To start us off tonight is one of Nigeria's finest singers. The beauty of his voice lies in its uniqueness. He never tries to be the version of someone else's perfection. His voice is an instrument which he plays with precision, creating a symphony of emotions. His voice is filled with love that can heal deeper wounds and can touch many hearts. Tonight we'll be performing a song that has almost become like an alternate national anthem. The song is timeless. It is a classic. Please join me as I welcome on stage tonight Timi Dakolo with the song Great Nation. Amazing voice. He told me earlier he was going to insure that voice 1 billion naira. No wonder he won the 2007 Idols West Africa. Let's put our hands together for Timi Dakolo. I'd like to welcome tonight the Standing Committee Chairman on Capital Markets, represented here by the Vice Chairman, distinguished Senator
What is ranking without CIBN?
And also NDIC is here.
Giants of
The entire
Africa,
management team is here.
Nigeria.
The Managing Director, Bello Hassan, Executive Director of Operations, Mustafa Ibrahim, Executive Director of Corporate Services, Emily Osigi. This is complete package from NDIC. Let's put our hands together for them and welcome them. Thank you very much. And so, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Very Young is my name. I'm not alone here tonight. I have here a rising star, delectable, attractive, digitally compliant, beautiful, wonderful. Please welcome here, Mojibade Shusoye.
Thank you very much, Mr. Iberi Young, for that kind introduction. Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, and of course, the revered members of the banking community. My name is Mojibade Shusoye. I'm a professional compere and a television presenter. I'm also an ex-banker. So it gives me great pleasure. Thank you. You can give me the applause. Thank you. So it gives me great pleasure to warmly welcome you to the 58th Annual Bankers Dinner, marking the illustrious 60th anniversary of the Chartered Institute of the Bankers of Nigeria. Tonight, amidst the elegance and prestige of this occasion, we find ourselves reflecting on 6 decades of unwavering commitment, dedication to excellence, to innovation, and much more to leadership in the Nigerian banking sphere. So please give a warm round of applause to the CIBN for 60 years of transforming the Nigerian banking sector. So we must tonight embrace this moment as a testament to our collective commitment to ensuring excellence, to camaraderie, and of course, to the promising future that lies ahead of us. Once again, we would like to warmly welcome you all and thank you for joining us. Everyone in the room looks amazing. The room looks stunning. So again, we'd like to thank you for bringing a touch of color, a touch of class, and a touch of this to this august occasion. We do have an interesting lineup for you today, and we're looking forward to all the interesting things that will happen. Now, Mr. Ebere Young and myself cannot do the official welcome when we have distinguished personalities like yourself in a room like this. So it is my honor to introduce an esteemed gentleman who will be doing the official welcome. It gives me great pleasure, and it is with enthusiasm that I stand before you to introduce a trailblazer in the field of finance, a visionary leader, and the eminent president, chairman of council of the CIBN. In his exemplary leadership, it has been nothing short of exceptional. His astute guidance and unwavering commitment have not only elevated the collective activities of the council, but have set the standard for excellence. The distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a great pleasure to now ask you to give a warm round of applause as we make welcome Mr. Ken Ofara to the welcome tonight. FCIB to welcome tonight. Make the applause louder and sustain it until he gets off stage. It's introduced and welcome, introduced and welcome you all our distinguished guests tonight. Over tonight.
Thank you so much. A very good evening, all. I say welcome to this dinner, which marks our 60th anniversary. And I think we deserve a round of applause. I would observe the protocol because it's very long. However, our leaders, very, very important to recognize the presence of the Vice President of Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON, who is today ably represented by Mrs. Rukaya El-Rufai, who is also the special advisor to the President of Nigeria on National Economic Council and Climate Change. Let me also welcome our host governor here in Lagos State, who has also been making the environment very, very conducive for business to thrive. I'm talking about the governor of Lagos State, who is ably represented here by the Commissioner for Finance, Mr. Bayomi Obiomi. Thank you so much. I also would like to welcome the presence of the Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister of Economic, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Mr. Waledi. Thank you so much. Our governor, the governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, I wish to welcome you so much, Mr. Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, with his beautiful wife. I want to welcome Mr. Olayemi Cardoso and his beautiful wife. Thank you so much. The Senate Committee on Banking and Finance, Insurance and other financial services. That's also your constituency, you know. Thank you so much, Senator Tokumbo Abiru, FCIB. We also have the Senate Committee Chair on Diaspora, NGO, Civil Society in the person of Senator Anthony Yaro. Thank you so much for. We have the Senate Committee on Capital Market, who is ably represented here by Senator Peter Gia, who is also the Vice Chairman of Senate Committee on Capital Market. The office holders, our revered past presidents, ably led here by Mr. Ralph Osayem, FCIB, Registrar Chief Executive, bank CEOs, Chairperson of the Organizing Committee, Mrs. Neka Onyali-Ibe, and also the Chairperson of the 60th anniversary, Dr. Shego Aino, the Chairman of Body of Bank CEOs, Dr. Ebenezer Onyagu, FCIB. My very good friends, council members, captains of industry, leaders of thought, I warmly welcome you. So let me then proceed to read my welcome remarks. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to the 50th Annual Bankers Dinner and the grand finale of the 60th anniversary of our revered institute. As customary, the Annual Bankers Dinner is an event where stakeholders in the banking industry and key economic actors, inclusive of regulators, operators, government, customers, and the business community are afforded opportunity to convivially let their head down and socially network. This year's edition is particularly auspicious as we celebrate not only professional excellence in the banking industry, but also the Diamond Jubilee of our esteemed institute. As we commemorate this important milestone, we acknowledge our past presidents, other leaders, and institutions that have, over the past 6 decades, contributed towards the development of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, from cradle to the revered status that it has attained today. Therefore, welcome specially to this gathering the Vice President, who is ably represented by the Special Advisor on National Economic Council and Climate Change. I'm also excited to welcome the Executive Governor of Lagos State, who also is ably represented here by the Commissioner for Finance. We thank you, Mr. Governor, for your support and for providing the enabling environment for business to thrive in Lagos State. I want to especially welcome and appreciate the Honorable Minister of Finance, Mr. Wale Edu, for his esteemed presence at this auspicious occasion. We sincerely appreciate you, sir. Let me at this juncture welcome very warmly the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Olayemi Cardoso, and his dear wife for taking out time with us this evening, despite your schedule, which we know is quite busy. The Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, as the guest speaker today, has historically used the platform to share perspective on economic and financial market developments in the current year, and then would go ahead to provide insights into the economic outlook for the year ahead. We look forward to an exciting and highly insightful session as Mr. Governor addresses us tonight. It's important to mention that within the short period in office, the CBN governor has activated some key initiatives aimed at repositioning and stabilizing the economy. I'll mention few. Focusing on the core monetary policy mandate of price and exchange rate stability, the unification of the exchange rate, initiating steps to boost liquidity in the foreign exchange market through commencement or settlement of matured forward obligations, market reflective rate for government treasury security geared towards achieving real positive yield on such investments, joint issuance of advisory notice by CBN in conjunction with the Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee and the National Broadcasting Commission to end the scourge of illegal financial operators in Nigeria. Let me say at this juncture that it is a journey and we are not yet there, but we believe that we are progressing as we are not oblivious of the inflationary pressure that have intensified and have reached an all-time high of 27.33% in October 2023, with negative yield on investment on financial security, while the exchange rate continue to exert pressure on the financial market. As government continue to open the economy for increased private sector participation, enhancement of incentive to boost non-oil export, providing the enabling environment for diaspora inflows, foreign portfolio, and foreign direct investment, we expect growth in the economy as we move the years ahead. Let me also take a moment to appreciate the MD of NDIC, Mr. Hassan Bello, and all the managing director and chief executive of banks that have co-sponsored this dinner. My special thanks go to the DG of the Central Bank of Nigeria, who are here present, for your great support and what you continue to provide. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as we mark our 60th anniversary, we reflect on our journey and achievements over the decades. We are proud of the legacies of our founding fathers, our esteemed past presidents, and indeed, everyone that has contributed in no small measure to the development of the Chartered Institute of Bankers, the banking industry, and the Nigerian economy as a whole. Esteemed audience, it might interest you to note that the Institute has produced numerous distinguished bankers who have risen to the highest level of leadership and management in public and private sector. So you can see today the Minister of Finance, the CBN Governor, the Senate Committee on Banking and Finance, the Commissioner for Finance in Lagos State, all of these and many others. In fact, the Senator Yaro, are all bankers, and they are all here presently. And that attests to the quality of leadership. We've also taken our mandate of building competency and ethical consciousness among banking professionals in line with our vision of becoming a global reference point for skills and conduct in the banking and finance ecosystem. Important to mention also is that the Institute has full
and other financial institutions. To join me as I welcome here distinguished Senator Michael Adetokunbo Abiru, FCA.
The Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, ably represented by Mrs. Rukaya Rifai, the senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria present here, who are my colleagues, Senator Yaro and Senator Gia, the Governor of Lagos State, ably represented by the Honorable Commissioner of Finance, Mr. Yomi Oluyomi, the Honorable Minister of Finance and coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Edu, the Governor of the Central Bank and his amiable wife, Mr. and Mrs. Olayemi Kadoso, the President and Chairman of the CIBN, and the body of bank CEOs and my former colleagues. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is an honor and a privilege to stand before you tonight as a special guest, though as one of you as well, at the 58th Annual Bankers Dinner and the grand finale of the 60th anniversary of the Chartered Institute of Bankers. This gathering marks not only a celebration of the Institute's rich history, but also an opportunity for us to reflect on the pivotal role that the banking industry plays in shaping the economic and financial landscape of our great nation. The Chartered Institute of Bankers has been a beacon of excellence, fostering professionalism and innovation within the banking sector for 6 remarkable decades. So tonight, we commend the Institute for its tireless efforts in upholding the highest standards of integrity and competence among professional banking professionals. So as the chairman of the Senate Committee on Banking and other Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance, and other financial institutions, I stand before you as a partner in progress, committed to fostering an environment that allows for financial ecosystem, that is both the regulators and the operators, to thrive in order to protect the interest of all stakeholders. The banking industry plays a critical role in any economy, and it is our responsibility to nurture its growth, resilience, and sustainability. So our committee is aware of the challenges facing the financial ecosystem and we are steadfast in our commitment in driving reforms that will fortify its foundations. The financial landscape, as we all know, is evolving very rapidly, driven by technological advancements, global economic shifts, and the need for greater financial inclusion. So we recognize the imperative for our banking institutions to adapt and embrace these changes to remain competitive on the global stage. So to this end, I want to assure you all that the Senate Committee on Banking and Insurance and other financial institutions is actively engaged in a comprehensive review of existing regulations and legislations governing the financial ecosystem. And we are collaborating with industry experts, stakeholders, and regulatory bodies to ensure that our legal framework is not only robust, but also flexible and enough to accommodate innovation while safeguarding the stability of the financial system. Furthermore, our committee is focused on promoting financial inclusion initiatives to bring more Nigerians into the formal financial market. We believe that a financial inclusive society is stronger and more prosperous, and we are working tirelessly to create an environment that encourages banks to reach both the underserved and the unbanked segments of the population. So I want to assure all of us gathered here today that the Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance, and other financial institutions is unwavering in its commitment to driving positive reforms in the banking industry. We are cognizant of the pivotal role that the banking sector plays in Nigeria's economic development, and we are dedicated to fostering an environment that encourages innovation, competition, and inclusivity. So as we celebrate the 60th anniversary of the Institute, let us recommit ourselves to the shared goal of building a resilient, dynamic, and inclusive banking industry that will catalyze the economic prosperity of our great nation. Congratulations, and thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
The banking sector is producing so many senators. He used to be the managing director of Sky, now Polaris Bank. Now he is in the Senate. So if you're a banker here and you have political interest, just pursue it. You might be a senator one day. Let's put our hands together for him, ladies and gentlemen.
In productive activities. Within the banking system, high inflation has affected asset quality and solvency ratios. Additionally, the persistent depreciation of the Naira poses a significant risk for domestic banks with foreign exchange exposures. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I understand that many of you have concerns about the current state of our economy. And I'm sure when I was reading the whole myriad of problems facing our economy, you must have been saying to yourself, well, we know, but what are you going to do about it? I want to assure you that while it is indeed a formidable challenge, it is not insurmountable. With the right policy measures, we can overcome these obstacles and pave the way for progress and prosperity. I'm confident and optimistic that by taking appropriate corrective actions and strategic steps, we can restore macroeconomic stability and address fundamental flaws. The removal of petrol subsidy and the adoption of a floating exchange rate, among other government policies, are anticipated to have positive effects on the economy in the medium term. These measures are expected to enhance investor confidence, attract capital inflows, stimulate domestic investment, and ultimately improve the level of external reserves. Additionally, they are expected to contribute to the stabilization of the domestic currency. Indeed, despite the challenging global and domestic macroeconomic environment, Nigeria's financial sector has demonstrated resilience in 2023, with key indicators of financial soundness largely meeting regulatory benchmarks. Stress tests conducted on the banking industry also indicates its strength under mild to moderate scenarios of sustained economic and financial stress. Although there's room for further strengthening and enhancing resilience to shocks. Therefore, there's still much to be done in fortifying the industry for future challenges, a topic that I will delve into later in my address. In my recent speech at the 370th Bankers Committee meeting, I highlighted the economic agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. The administration, as outlined in the widely circulated Policy Advisory Council report on the national economy earlier this year, has set an ambitious goal of achieving a GDP of $1 trillion over the next 7 years, with clearly defined priority areas and strategies. Attaining this substantial target necessitates sustainable and inclusive economic growth at a significantly higher pace than current levels. The administration, as we know, has already commenced this journey through fiscal reforms. Esteemed guests, considering the policy imperatives and the projected economic growth, it is crucial for us to evaluate the adequacy of our banking industry to serve the envisioned larger economy. It is not just about the stability of the financial system in the present moment, as we have already established that the current assessment shows stability. However, we need to ask ourselves, will Nigerian banks have sufficient capital relative to the financial system's needs in servicing a $1 trillion economy in the near future? In my opinion, the answer is no, unless we take action. Therefore, we must make difficult decisions regarding capital adequacy. As the first steps, the central bank will be directing banks to increase their capital. Technology will continue to play a critical role in delivering financial services and enhancing financial inclusion. However, recent developments in the payment services landscape have raised concerns regarding the use of technology and the existing licensing and regulatory framework. We have observed that some licensees are operating outside their approved activities, breaching the boundaries set for them. Any intentional or unintended non-compliance will be subject to sanctions, as operators have the responsibility to ensure that they are licensed for the activities they undertake. Concurrently, as we conduct a comprehensive review of the licensing framework for payment services, we will engage in extensive consultations to develop a new regulatory and compliance framework that is suitable for the technology-driven payment services sector. Looking ahead for the industry, banks should reassess their responsible banking framework to ensure that the requirements are effectively integrated into the strategies. I'm aware that some banks have made commendable progress in this regard. Furthermore, the Central Bank of Nigeria is taking steps to enhance its in-house capacity so that it can assist other banks that still have progress to make in implementing their sustainability principles. Distinguished guests, while macroeconomic indicators are valuable in assessing performance, I'm equally concerned about the well-being of the average citizen. The plight of the hardworking masses in our urban centers and villages is a pressing concern. We must ask ourselves, is there a potential future where a brilliant and motivated teenager from anywhere in Nigeria could attend a future anniversary dinner instead of being drawn into outlawed militant groups or extremist ideologies? Likewise, recognizing the pivotal role that women play as critical players in the economy, one cannot overlook the significant impact that providing them with opportunities can have on Nigeria's economic advancement. To address this, we need to develop stronger frameworks for measuring the human conditions and ensure that policymakers and business leaders pay as much attention to these measures as they do to macroeconomic indicators. This means tracking indicators such as access to food, shelter, and healthcare, as well as education and skills training opportunities. We must also meticulously monitor daily wage rates in lower income jobs. Access to basic amenities like electricity, clean water, and sanitation facilities, and availability of public transportation. From a financial inclusion standpoint, we should track access to financial services, including consumer credit, and ultimately the ability to finance home ownership on a large scale. By having accurate data on the human condition and implementing appropriate policies based on this data, we can expect inclusive economic growth that leads to tangible improvements in the lives of our citizens. It is crucial to give the same visibility to human condition data as we do to macroeconomic data to ensure that the expected economic progress benefits the masses and helps lift them out of their current dire conditions. Distinguished guests, I recently met with a group of small business owners who expressed their concern about the impact of inflation on their operations. They shared stories of struggling to maintain affordable prices for their customers while facing rising costs for raw materials and supplies. The instability caused by inflation not only affects their profit margins, but also hampers their ability to plan for the future. These entrepreneurs stress the need for price stability to create a conducive business environment that allows them to thrive and contribute to the economy. In recent discussions with individuals from different walks of life, I encountered a young family trying to make ends meet in the face of rising prices. They shared their worries about the erosion of their purchasing power and the challenges of meeting basic needs within a very tight budget. They emphasized the importance of stable prices to protect the well-being of ordinary citizens and ensure a fair distribution of resources. It is crucial that we prioritize price stability to safeguard the livelihoods of our fellow Nigerians. Stabilizing the exchange rate is another critical aspect of our efforts to promote economic stability. I had the privilege of speaking with business owners engaged in international trade. They recounted the difficulties of navigating the fluctuations in the exchange rate, which often led to uncertainties and unexpected costs. The volatility in the foreign exchange market disrupted their planning and hindered their ability to make informed business decisions. It is imperative that we provide transparency and create a market environment that allows fair determination of exchange rates, ensuring stability for businesses and individuals alike. Distinguished guests, to address these challenges, the Central Bank of Nigeria is committed to achieving monetary and price stability. This is not just a technical objective, but it has real-life implications for the well-being of all our citizens. Through targeted policies, transparent market operations, and coordination between monetary and fiscal authorities, we can ensure a more stable exchange rate, control inflation, and create an enabling environment for businesses and individuals to thrive. That is what I, together with my team at the Central Bank, have been focused on doing in the past 2 months. We have critically reviewed the effectiveness of the Central Bank's monetary policy tools and have spent time fixing the transmission mechanism to ensure the decisions of MPC meetings actually result in desired objectives. For quite some time, there has been a dislocation of our monetary transmission mechanisms, rendering the MPC meetings largely ineffective. For the avoidance of doubt, the Central Bank of Nigeria Act 2007 requires that the meeting of the Monetary Policy Committee of the bank holds at least 4 times a year, and the bank has satisfied this requirement for 2023. Our focus, therefore, has been on ensuring that these meetings are useful and effective. I'm happy to report that our efforts over the past 2 months have begun to yield fruit. Regular open market operations, OMO, to mop up excess liquidity from the banking system. An OMO auction was recently held with a stop rate of 17.5% for the 1-year tenure, attracting oversubscription of 350 billion naira. Another round of OMO has been approved to further reduce excess liquidity. Offering 108.1 billion worth of treasury bills with 3 tenures to the investing public, which can help reduce liquidity in the banking system and support government fundraising. Also, removal of the cap on the Remunerable Standing Deposit Facility, SDF, to increase activity in the SDF window and manage liquidity. Inauguration of a new liquidity management committee within the bank that meets daily at 8 o'clock in the morning to assess liquidity conditions and ensure optimum levels. These measures, distinguished guests, have already started to yield results as excess liquidity in the banking system has significantly reduced, and the overnight bank borrowing, OBB rate, has increased to a level consistent with the monetary policy program. Month-to-month inflation has already begun to decline, with a growth rate of 0.67% in October compared to 0.97% previously. While absolute inflation is still rising, the declining rate of growth indicates progress. The CBN is confident that with continued tightening measures for the next 2 quarters, they will be able to effectively manage inflation. Distinguished guests, I am aware that events over the past few years have also put the CBN in bad light. These issues can be attributed to various factors, such as corporate governance failures, diminished institutional autonomy of the Central Bank of Nigeria, a deviation from the core mandate of the bank, unorthodox use of monetary tools, an inefficient and opaque foreign exchange market that hindered clear access, a foray into fiscal activities under the cover of developmental finance activities. And there was also a lack of clarity in the relationship between fiscal and monetary policies, amongst other challenges. Hitherto, the CBN had strayed from its core mandates and was engaged in quasi-fiscal activities that pumped over 10 trillion naira in the economy through almost different initiatives in sectors ranging from agriculture, power, and many others. These clearly distracted the bank from achieving its own objectives and took it into areas which it had limited expertise. Distinguished guests, under my leadership, the Central Bank of Nigeria will vigorously address these issues. We will tackle institutional deficiencies, restore corporate governance, strengthen regulations, and implement prudent policies. We assure investors and the business community that our economy will experience significant stability in the short to medium term as we recalibrate our policy toolkits and implement far-reaching measures. Esteemed guests, the primary mandate of the CBN is to ensure price stability in addition to other objectives such as issuing legal tender currency, safeguarding external reserves, promoting a sound financial system, and providing economic and financial advice to the government. In line with our strategy to refocus on our core mandate, the CBN will discontinue direct quasi-fiscal interventionist activities and instead utilize orthodox monetary policy tools for implementing monetary policy. As part of this refocus, the CBN has just approved the adoption of an explicit inflation targeting framework to enhance the effectiveness of our monetary policy. The details and requirements for this framework are currently being finalized amongst the fiscal authorities. Additionally, the CBN will provide forward guidance, enhance transparency, and maintain effective communication with the public to anchor expectations and build trust among stakeholders. Our monetary policies will aim to achieve price stability, foster economic growth, stabilize the exchange rate of the naira, and reduce interest rates to facilitate borrowing and invested in the real sector. In order to ensure the proper functioning of domestic and foreign currency markets, clear, transparent, and harmonized rules governing market operations are essential. New foreign exchange guidelines and legislation will be developed, and extensive consultations will be conducted with banks and FX operators before implementing any new requirements. We have already witnessed improvements in FX market liquidity in recent weeks as the market responded positively to tranche payments which have been made to 31 banks to clear the backlog of FX forward obligations. We have been subjecting these payments to detailed verification to ensure only valid transactions are honored. In a properly functioning market, it is reasonable to expect significant foreign exchange liquidity with daily trade potentially exceeding $1 billion. We envision that with discipline and focused commitment, foreign exchange reserves can be rebuilt to comparable levels with similar economies. GDP target will put Nigeria in a position of much more favorable macroeconomic indices, comparable to other economies of $1 trillion and above, with similar population and development characteristics. As with these countries, there's an expectation that driving to this target requires improvements in productivity, employment, and key macroeconomic growth indices. In drawing a comparison with some of these countries, I had in the address to the Bankers Committee audience referred to selected BRICS and Mint economies such as Brazil, Mexico, and Indonesia for their capacity to absorb economic shocks and rebound from cyclical downturn. Significantly, Brazil, with a population of 215 million people, Mexico, with a population of 129 million people, and Indonesia, with a population of 275 million people, which have 2023 unemployment rates at 7.8%, 3.1%, and 5.4% respectively. These are unemployment levels that we in Nigeria should aspire to achieve and with resolve can attain. Further to the projected growth targets, sectors including agro-processing, oil and gas, manufacturing, solid minerals, fintech, and information technology, real estate construction, and infrastructure, amongst others, are expected to attract significant capital investments. Having mentioned all these sectors, we must appreciate the soft power projected by the incredibly talented cohorts in the creative industries. Afrobeat, Nollywood, food, fashion, design, and the arts continue to make strong impact in youth employment and contribution to Nigeria's international image. As these sectors expand, so will opportunities for incumbent players and new entrants alike, who are willing to make calculated bets as economic spaces open up from expansion of the economy. Therefore, key macroeconomic indicators, both on fiscal and monetary activities, must be tracked, diligently evaluated, and necessary adjustment made if things are not pointing in the right direction or moving at the right pace. These indicators include GDP growth, tax to GDP, per capita income, balance of payments, foreign exchange reserves, unemployment rate, consumer price indices, headline and core inflation rates, as well as more granular measures that we as the regulator use in assessing stability of the financial system. In our assessment of these key ratios, they need to continue to improve. However, we are aware of laudable efforts by the fiscal authorities on this and recognize that visible improvements will take time to manifest. As the monetary authority, we are taking measured and deliberate steps to send the right signals to the market and achieve our mandate. To ensure stability, curb speculation, and restore confidence in the foreign exchange market, we have initiated the payment of unsettled forward foreign exchange obligations, and these payments will continue until obligations are cleared. The CBN has also lifted the ban on 43 items from accessing the official foreign exchange market, allowing market forces to determine exchange rates. We are witnessing clear progress in stabilizing the Nigerian foreign exchange market. Distinguished guests, please allow me to provide further clarification on the issue of the 43 items. Firstly, it is important to note that these items were never outrightly banned by the government. The CBN had imposed restrictions on their access to foreign exchange in the official market. However, these restrictions resulted in increased demand for foreign exchange in the parallel market, leading to the depreciation of the exchange rate in that segment of the Nigerian foreign exchange market and widening the premium between the parallel and official markets. Studies have in fact shown that during the period when the 43 items were restricted, there's a 51% increase in trade evasion by importers accessing the foreign exchange market, resulting in a revenue drop of approximately $1.4 billion annually between 2015 and 2019. I beg your pardon, resulting in a revenue drop of approximately 1.4 billion or 275 million annually between 2015 and 2019. Additionally, revenue from tariffs on goods decreased from a high of approximately $920 million in 2011 to about $250 million in 2017. In 2019, the actual tariff on goods stood at $320 million, but counterfactual evidence suggests that as much as $680 million could have been earned in that same year. Furthermore, evidence has shown that foreign exchange restrictions had an adverse impact on Nigerian households and contributed to inflationary pressures. The reduction in trade restriction on levies on rice, sugar, and wheat by 50% had only a minimal impact on welfare, with a 0.8% improvement and a mere 0.4% reduction in extreme poverty. Moreover, the benefits of trade gains for the general population were negligible, as the average industry in Nigeria pays 13.7% more for its inputs. Lastly, it is important to note that trade policy is primarily the responsibility of the fiscal authorities, and delving into such matters falls outside of the purview of the central bank. Ladies and gentlemen, as an advisor to the government, the CBN will be repositioned as a catalyst for economic stability and growth. Instead of direct interventions, we will collaborate with stakeholders and formulate policies that create an enabling environment for sustained economic growth and development. Our catalytic role will support increased investment and private sector participation in the economy, improve access to finance for MSMEs, and enhance financial services for the underbanked. This includes promoting specialized institutions and financial products to support emerging sectors, developing regulatory frameworks to unlock dormant capital in land and property holdings, facilitating accelerated access to consumer credit, and expanding financial inclusion to reach the masses. Furthermore, we will work with experts to develop de-risking instruments that encourage private sector investment in key industry verticals such as housing, textiles and clothing, food supply chain, healthcare, and educational supplies, which have high potential for local inputs and value retention. The Central Bank of Nigeria will leverage its convening power to engage multilateral and international stakeholders in government and private sector initiatives. In conclusion, and I'm sure money must be saying at last, there is much work to be done, and collaboration from all stakeholders is essential as we rebuild trust. Central banks, distinguished guests, are known as banks of last resort because they underpin the financial system. To do so effectively will require rebuilding and restoring trust in the Central Bank of Nigeria. Let me assure you that I am irrevocably committed to that calling. In navigating these challenging economic times, the Central Bank of Nigeria is fully committed to ensuring price stability and financial system sustainability. We will stand by Nigeria and Nigerians. Our actions will be fully guided by the principle and a deep commitment to Nigeria's progress. Throughout the CIBN's journey of growth and success, the principles of trust, honesty, integrity, and professionalism have been steadfast guiding lights. They have defined the essence of our profession and shaped the character of the industry. However, it is, in my view, important for us to engage in introspection and acknowledge that in recent times, the reputation of the industry has suffered some setbacks, challenging the very principles that have underpinned our noble profession. It is incumbent upon us to look back into history and draw inspiration from the rich heritage of the CIBN, learning from the countless examples of banking professionals who upheld these principles and contributed to the creation of a thriving industry, an industry that has become a unique homegrown addition to the global financial system. Once again, I would like to express my gratitude to the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria for organizing this event. I thank you all for your attention, and I wish you an enjoyable evening.
Let's make it a standing ovation, please. Can we continue the round of applause, please? Amazing. Maybe we'll call this State of the Nation address. Thank you very much. So we are going to take a series of photographs very quickly, and then the registrar will take on some activities. So the first photograph will be the CBN governor and office holders. CBN governor and office holders. So I will invite the distinguished senators in the room, the representative of the governor of Lagos State, and the Honorable Minister of Finance to please step up here. Honorable Minister of Finance, representative of Lagos State Governor, and the distinguished senators are in the room, please. Okay, who might need to? Let me invite the deputy governors of the central bank. The deputy governors of the central bank, please join us here. The deputy governors of the central bank. Let me invite past presidents. Past presidents.
Moving to the light, I've got so much love to show you. Moving to the light, oh, tell you, yeah. Moving to the light, I've got so much love to show you. Moving to my life. You come into my life. I told you that I will treat you right.
All right.
The days that you wanted me to hold and kiss to my life. In times of glory, you recall us from your time. Together is one or two, we shine like diamond. And I'll show you sweet melodies that you want and need. Because I love you, dear.
Okay, so the ministers can leave us, the past presidents can leave us. I invite now the MDs of banks, led by the chairman of the body of CEOs. Let me also welcome here the chairman of the planning committee. MD CEOs of banks.
Your body, now you there's something it's gonna make you remember. Hey, should everything stop? Oh, It's something gonna make you
Please, for one, please move forward.
unwind the party. This we long down with the party. It's the shoe. You can get started. All night. So we can hold it first, so we can party till everybody. Just do it, here's something. Wanna make you on and on and on. We have forever. I let myself go.
Mr. Johnson Chukwu,
Things that didn't know.
Mr. Johnson Chukwu, please come on stage.
Not a thing is calling back. He get the ringtone, the rhythm tissue, and he's something.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, would like to quickly perform one special task right about now, following up on the governor's speech. The motto of the Challenge of Bankers of Nigeria is trust and honesty. And so this beautiful evening, we would like to reward and recognize individuals who have demonstrated the act of integrity. And so this night, may I implore us all to please pay attention as we present a special award known as Outstanding Integrity Award. On this note, I'd like to hand over to Mr. Johnson Chukwu. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I know we're all excited with the wonderful speech made by the Central Bank Governor, but we are the second phase of our role assignment this night. And this particular assignment epitomizes what the ISTU stands for, that of integrity. So we will be giving out awards to people who are recognized individuals who have demonstrated an uncommon act of integrity, honesty, courage, and transparency. We have under this category 4 awards. Those awards are for people who achieve a standing level of integrity in their daily life, in their engagement. The first award goes to somebody, a tricycle rider, or what we call Keke Napep rider, who returned the sum of 15 million naira that was forgotten. Mr. Governor, sir.
Mr. Governor.
Mr. Governor, sir.
Mr. Governor. The Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria.
Mr. Governor, sir.
The Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Olayemi Cardoso. Okay. That's one. Your attention is needed, Mr. Governor.
Okay, we can see the call of duty may have made it impossible for the governor to stay beyond now. So we'll go ahead with the award. The first award of outstanding integrity goes to a young man who okay, I understand we may need to do dinner first. People are very hungry. Yes. And then we can continue with the awards so that we don't keep you too late for the dinner. So dinner is served.
So Mojibade will give us a rundown of how dinner is served. Mojibade, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Registrar. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank you for your time tonight. Now, after the food for thought that was delivered by the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, we will now have food for our bellies. But the food will be served in buffet style. I would like to make the announcement, but I'd like to ask that we please all take our seats respectfully so that it will be done in an orderly fashion. Now, for all our VIPs on the front row, we do have hostesses that have been positioned by your seats and they will take your orders. Now, we do understand that a few of our dignitaries on the front row might like to see the plethora of options that we have for you. That is also possible, so you can speak to any of the hostesses who will lead you to the service point. We have 12 service points in this hall. The first to my left and the first to my right have been dedicated very specially to all our dignitaries on the front row. I would say that again. The first service point to my left and the first service point to my right have been specially dedicated to all our VIPs on the front row. Now, for the rest of our distinguished